Hi guys, this is Carrie. I am so sorry that we did not put up a message Monday this week. Fail. Sorry. I really am sorry. But our weekend was really crazy, and so that's usually when we film our Message Mondays. And Vinny and I have to find a time where him and I both can be there to sit and chat and do whatever we're gonna do. And this weekend just was one of those weekends that we slip by and all of a sudden it's Monday and we're like, we didn't video anything and we didn't upload a video. And so we are so sorry, but this coming week we will be right back on our schedule. Yesterday Vinny actually got sick because we were actually going to try to post a late video, but Vinny got really sick, and so he is feeling better today though, so everything is good. We just got busy, so I'm so sorry. So he told me, he's like, go ahead and record a video, and so here, this is, my typical thing. What I wanted to talk about today was complaining. Yeah. Complaining. I am like the queen of complaining. If there was like a first prize or like some sort of award that I could win for like best complainer, I'm probably that person. And it's really embarrassing to say that that's me, but I am. And I feel like this past week has been one of those weeks where it's just like I had a complaint about everything. Poor Vinny heard my complaints all week long. He probably was just like, this psycho girl is complaining, she needs to get her act together. Even though he wasn't. He's very merciful and gives me grace, and I thank him for that. Sorry, my ponytails. Anyway. So I just feel like I was complaining. You get in your life and you get in these things where you're just unhappy with circumstances. You're unhappy with the way things are, and you're just kind of like blah blah with your day-to-day stuff. And that's how I felt this past week. The dog, again, we love Reggie, but she's new, and so we're learning and we're having to figure things out with her, and that's just been a little bit stressful, and I've been complaining about that, and I've been complaining about money, and I've been complaining about work, and I've been complaining just about a ton of different stuff, and I feel like such a dweeb for complaining about this stuff, and I just really felt like God told me, hey, I have you where I have you for a reason. And if we were to look in our life, now seriously, you guys, and I know complaining, be grateful for what you have is so cliche, but no, it's like legit stuff. If we were to look in our life and see how much we have to be grateful for, we would have nothing to complain about. I found out that I owed money on a bill that I didn't think I was going to have to pay, and it ended up, or I knew I was going to have to pay it, but it ended up being way more money than I was expecting, and I was just like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? I called the company like a couple times, just like super frustrated. I vented to my mom and to Vinny about it, and I'm just like, what am I going to do? Like, this is like way more money than I can spend, or like for my budget, yada yada yada. So I did my budget, and I had plenty of money to pay for my bill, because God is good and He provides, but I wasn't going to have a whole lot of money left over. And I was just like, well, what am I going to do? That's like not very much for cushion money, and I have things I need to buy, and I have things I need to get, and blah, 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 blah. You know, the typical complaining, the typical whining stuff, Let's just whine, why don't we, Carrie? And so I started thinking, while we were doing something this past Sunday, we had the opportunity to do something really, really cool. We haven't talked very much about the church that I grew up in. Well, my parents are the directors of a nonprofit organization called Building Blocks here in our town, and it is actually a food resource center. And it is a faith-based resource center, so people learn about the gospel. People learn about Jesus, but we also give food and we give clothes and those kinds of things. And we have church services on Sunday through this organization. And so when we talk about our church on Sundays, that's the one we're talking about. But it's actually a food bank is what it is. And so on Sunday, here in our town, every summer, we have what we call the Grape Festival. It is a big fair. There's rides, there's games, there's booths where people are selling food, selling different items, and all these kinds of things. There's art, there's these murals, there's music, there's just tons of different stuff. And on Sunday, if people came and gave 2 cans of food, they brought them to the fair, they got in for $2. Normally a ticket is $9. If they brought 2 cans of food, they actually got in for $2. And so Building Blocks actually got connected with the Grape Festival, and we were able to go and collect all the cans that were given that day, and we got to take them to our food bank, okay? This is huge. Like, this festival has thousands and thousands of people that go through it, and for 2 hours people brought canned food. We ended up getting 1,800 and I think 64 cans of food. That is insane, and we were completely thrilled. We were so excited. And if you look at my arm, I have you can kind of see my farmer's tan. See that gnarly tan? That is from me staying out in the direct sun. That day I happened to be complaining because it was insanely hot and I was in the direct sun, but I was the loser who didn't take a hat and didn't take water or anything to take care of me. But anyway, so we got all this canned food, and I thought to myself while we were doing this, people were asking me what it was for, and people were excited that it was staying in the community, and people were just excited to kind of give. And I got thinking, how cool is it, even though I complain, how cool is it that I was able to pay my bill, I still had money left over, I have food on my table, I'm actually fortunate enough to not have to go to a food bank to get my food. God has blessed me, and God has provided for me, and God has given me more than I am worthy of having. So amongst my time of complaining, amongst my week of frustration, amongst my lack of being happy with my circumstances, through this really hot 2 hours outside in the direct sun, taking canned food from people in a line at a fair, God taught me that, Carrie, you are fortunate. And He showed me that, Carrie, I've provided for you. Even though it may not be what you want, this is what I want for you now. And I'm right there with it. I'm right there in it. And I am here with you, because there's so many, again, this is cliche, but there's so many people who just don't have what I have. There's so many people who don't have the family that I have, don't have the wonderful boyfriend that I have that treats me like a princess, the friends that I have, the job that I have, the ability, the health that I have. And it's so cool how God will use just an everyday thing, for me to go and help do things for the food bank was like nothing. But for God to use that to teach me something, of course, that's how He works. So this week be encouraged, you guys. Let's not complain. Let's count our blessings. Let's be grateful. Let's be thankful. Because if we were to sit down and count them, we'd be amazed of what God has blessed us with. So love you guys. We'll see you soon.